Hi, I'm Scott Cutaneo for Howdini. Here, today, we're going to be making a pie crust. So the ingredients that we need for this is flour, cold butter, and I'll explain that further, cold water, salt and sugar, and the pie plate. So normally you can make this in a bowl or a mixer, ideally on marble because it continues to hold the temperature, it keeps the dough cool. So we're going to start with our flour on the marble. So we'll just place that in the center. You can have a lot of fun with this at home as well. We're going to add our sugar and our salt. Very important, any pastry that you have, you always want to mix your dry ingredients together. So we're just going to fold that, put that on top and fold that in. Now, a very critical step, the butter, which is cut in small pieces. I just took out of the freezer. It's very important to cut it in with a fork to ensure that you get a real flaky crust. You want to make sure that the butter does not melt. So we'll just place that right in the center. It's important to work with this quickly. So now we're just going to cut it in as we call it. The butter needs to stay solid, but you don't want to make it larger than a pea. So that's a critical step. So we're almost done. And to ensure that the butter doesn't melt as well, when we add a little of the water, it's going to be ice water. You want it to resemble coarse cornmeal. So here, I'll put everything back to the center. I'll create what we call a well. We don't want to add all the water at the same time. We're just going to work that dough. The goal is to achieve the least amount of water. It needs to start to pull away to create one harmonious mixture. So that's why we add the water in small amounts. We'll add a little more water. We're all set. Just going to bring all that to the center. And now I just want to bring it together and do a few kneads. Again, the butter is, cold butter is the key to this dough. I'm going to put that there for a second. Just going to scrape my work surface, sprinkle a little flour. Take my rolling pin, put some flour on that. I'm going to hit this a few times. Again, trying to keep my hands away from the dough. Okay, and now we're going to roll it out. So very important when rolling, you never want to roll over your dough or you'll have frayed edges. So we're just going to roll a little, quarter turn, roll a little, quarter turn. We want 1/8 of an inch thickness in our dough. When you're rolling it out, we're rolling a 9-inch pie crust. You always want to go around 2 inches beyond that. So here we have our dough. What I like to do is make sure that you start it coming off your work surface. Just remove that slowly. You don't need to grease your pie plate because we have so much butter in it. We just take this, just like that. And we don't want to stretch our dough as that'll create shrinkage when we cook it. I'm going to take out my scissor. You want to cut it again 2 inches more, so we're just going to trim. So now we want to fold it over. It's really easy. So here we're just going to pinch, pinch. So we'll just do that all the way around. All right, we're finished crimping. We're using our pie crust for a pumpkin pie. If you were making something such as an apple pie with a top, you would just double the recipe. Here you have a proper pie mold. I'm Scott Cutaneo for Howdini.